The massive alien fleet appeared suddenly at the edge of our solar system. Over 50 large ships, completely disabled and drifting silently through space. Earth's deep space monitoring stations detected unusual energy signatures and immediately alerted the United Nations Space Command. Captain Olivia Martinez stood on the bridge of the scout vessel Horizon staring at the main view screen with a mixture of awe and caution. The alien ships were unlike anything humans had ever encountered. Organic-looking structures with flowing lines that seemed to ripple even though they were motionless. "All systems are ready for approach, Captain," said Lieutenant Jake Powell from his station. Powell was the ship's xenolinguistics specialist, a man who had devoted his life to the theoretical study of alien communication. Now he would finally put his skills to real use. Martinez nodded. "Take us in slowly. Maintain defensive posture but keep weapons systems powered down. We don't want to appear hostile." The Horizon moved carefully toward the nearest alien vessel, which dwarfed their scout ship by at least 20 times. As they drew closer, they could see damage along the hull, scorch marks, and strange crystalline formations that seemed to be growing like parasites. "I'm detecting life signs," reported Science Officer Kimberly Reed. "Thousands of them. Their power systems are running on minimal emergency protocols. Life support appears to be failing." Martinez frowned. "Can we establish communication?" Powell was already working at his console, fingers flying over the controls. "I'm sending standard greeting packages on all frequencies." "Nothing yet." "Wait." He paused, eyes widening. "We're receiving a response. Some kind of data burst." The ship's computer struggled to process the alien transmission. After several tense minutes, a distorted image appeared on screen. The creature looked vaguely insectoid, with 4 compound eyes and mandibles that clicked as it spoke. Strange sounds filled the bridge. "Computer is attempting translation," Powell said, hunching over his station. "Their language structure is fascinating. It uses harmonic overtones to convey emotional context." For hours, Powell worked to establish basic communication. The rest of the crew conducted careful scans of the alien fleet, documenting the extensive damage. Finally, Powell looked up with excitement. "Captain, I've got it. Not perfect, but we can communicate." The alien appeared on screen again. "I am High Commander Ziktal of the Vraxian Confederation. We thank you for answering our distress call." Martinez stepped forward. "I am Captain Olivia Martinez of Earth. We detected your fleet and came to investigate. What happened to your ships?" The translation was rough, but the message came through. "Escaping. Dominion forces. Sabotage before jump. Systems failing. Many cycles adrift. Life support critical." Powell worked quickly to improve the translation algorithms as the conversation continued. The picture became clearer with each exchange. The Vraxians were refugees, fleeing from a violent expansionist empire they called the Dominion. Their fleet had been sabotaged before making a desperate faster-than-light jump, leaving them stranded with failing systems. "How long can your life support systems maintain your people?" Martinez asked. 23 Earth days," came the grim reply. "After that, we lose environmental control. Without assistance, my people will die." Martinez looked around at her crew, seeing the weight of this moment reflected in their eyes. This was first contact, but not as anyone had imagined it. These aliens weren't arriving as conquerors or even as diplomatic envoys. They were arriving as refugees in desperate need of help. "We will contact Earth immediately," Martinez said. "I cannot promise assistance yet, but we will not abandon you while there's still hope." As the Horizon sent its report back to Earth, the crew knew they were witnessing a pivotal moment in human history. Humanity's first encounter with alien life would not be defined by fear or conflict, but by a simple question. Would they extend a helping hand to a stranded civilization on the brink of extinction? Back on Earth, governments around the world received Captain Martinez's report with a mixture of fear, excitement, and suspicion. Emergency meetings were called at the United Nations headquarters in New York as world leaders debated the appropriate response to the stranded alien fleet. We cannot simply invite an unknown alien species into our solar system, argued the representative from Russia. This could be an elaborate trap. The Chinese delegate nodded in agreement. Their technology is clearly advanced beyond our own. Even damage, they could pose a significant threat. The debate continued for days while the Horizon maintained position near the Vraxian fleet. Captain Martinez and her crew took turns meeting with Vraxian officers via video link, learning more about their society and the dire situation they faced. Dr. Sofia Garcia, Earth's leading xenobiologist, reviewed the preliminary biological data and addressed the Security Council with passion in her voice. "These beings are real, and they are dying," she said firmly. "Their biology is completely different from our own. They require a methane-rich atmosphere with traces of hydrogen sulfide. They pose no biological threat to humans, and from what we've learned, no intentional threat either." Commander Daniel Wright, head of the Space Command Engineering Corps, presented a detailed rescue plan. "We can adapt our technology to help restore their propulsion and life support systems," he explained, pointing to technical diagrams. "It would require significant resources, but it's within our capabilities." The vote was close, but humanitarian concerns ultimately prevailed. Earth would help the stranded aliens. Captain Martinez was promoted to admiral and given command of the hastily assembled rescue fleet. 10 of Earth's most advanced vessels were equipped with special tools and supplies for the mission. Engineers and scientists volunteered from around the world, eager to be part of this historic effort. "This is a tremendous responsibility," Admiral Martinez told her expanded crew as they prepared to depart. "We represent all of humanity in this mission. Let's show these visitors the best of what we can be." Lieutenant Powell had made significant progress with the translation systems. He spent hours every day in conversation with Vraxian communication specialists, building a more comprehensive language database. "Their language is beautiful," Powell told Martinez during a private briefing. "It contains concepts we don't have words for, ideas about collective responsibility and interconnection that go beyond our usual thinking." As Earth's rescue fleet approached the stranded aliens, the true scale of the crisis became apparent. Close-up scans revealed that life support was failing faster than the Vraxians had initially calculated. Many of their people were already in emergency hibernation to conserve resources. High Commander Zichtal personally welcomed Admiral Martinez aboard the Vraxian command ship. The human delegation wore special environmental suits to survive in the alien atmosphere. "Your people crossed vast distance to help strangers," Zichtal said, his translated voice conveying deep emotion. "This is not common in our experience of the galaxy." Martinez nodded. "Earth has its share of conflicts and problems, but when faced with suffering, many humans feel compelled to help." The Vraxian leader's compound eyes reflected the artificial light as he responded. "The Dominion told us humans were primitive and dangerous. We see now they feared what you might become, a power guided by compassion rather than conquest." As the human engineers began their work, political complications arose. Some nations demanded special access to alien technology in exchange for their assistance. Others worried about resource allocation during Earth's own climate crisis. Admiral Martinez found herself navigating not only the technical challenges of the rescue, but also the complex politics. She established a simple principle for her mission. All technology exchanges would benefit Earth equally, and all decisions would prioritize saving Vraxian lives. With Powell continuing to improve communications and the rescue fleet fully deployed, the true work was about to begin. The clock was ticking, with thousands of alien lives hanging in the balance. The human rescue fleet spread out among the massive Vraxian ships, finally revealing the true scale of the crisis. Each alien vessel was the size of a small city, housing thousands of Vraxians in various states of emergency hibernation. The largest ship, the Vraxian Command Center, measured nearly 2 miles in length. Chief Engineer Alex Foster stood in the main engine room of the Vraxian flagship, surrounded by strange technology that seemed to blend mechanical and biological components. He ran his hand along a pulsing conduit that glowed with faint blue light. "These power distribution systems are unlike anything we've ever seen," Foster said to his team. "It's like the ship is partly alive." Foster had developed a reputation for solving impossible problems. Now, facing alien technology, he applied the same methodical approach. After 3 days of study, he developed an innovative method to connect human power sources to Vraxian systems. "The trick isn't generating power," he explained to Admiral Martinez during a status update. "It's converting our energy to something their systems can use. Their technology responds to specific frequencies our generators don't naturally produce." Meanwhile, Dr. Nathan Chen made a critical discovery about Vraxian biology. Working in the makeshift laboratory aboard the human ship Endeavour *, Chen analyzed atmospheric samples from functioning Vraxian habitats. "They don't just need methane to breathe," Chen reported. "They require specific trace elements in precise combinations. Their life support isn't just failing, it's becoming toxic as the balance shifts." This discovery created new urgency. Rescue teams began transferring essential supplies from Earth, while human engineers worked alongside awake Vraxians to restore their systems. Lieutenant Zoe Miller led the technical adaptation teams. A brilliant systems specialist, Miller had a natural talent for understanding how different technologies could work together. "Their computer interfaces operate on principles we never considered," Miller told her teams as they struggled to connect human diagnostic equipment to Vraxian systems. "They use something like quantum entanglement for instant communication between ship sections." Cultural misunderstandings created tension between the species. Human technicians accidentally violated Vraxian taboos by touching certain ship components with bare hands. Vraxian engineers became frustrated with what they saw as primitive human methods. Lieutenant Powell worked closely with a Vraxian communications officer named Krell to address these issues. Together, they created illustrated guides explaining cultural norms and technical procedures for both species. "Humans fix things by taking them apart," Powell explained to Krell. "Vraxians see this as disrespectful to the technology." Krell mandibles clicked as the translation system conveyed his response. "Our creators taught us to commune with machines, not dissect them. But we must adapt to survive." Gradually, the rescue efforts showed progress. Foster's power transfer system brought energy to critical life support sectors. Chen synthesized atmospheric stabilizers that would buy the Vraxians more time. Miller's team successfully interfaced with Vraxian navigation systems. 7 days into the rescue operation, the first small Vraxian vessel hummed to life. Its propulsion system, modified with human components, glowed with renewed energy. Both human and Vraxian crews gathered to watch as it performed a short test flight. "It's not pretty," Foster said, looking at the hybrid system with metal patches and improvised connections. "But it works." High Commander Ziktal performed a complex gesture that the translation system identified as one of profound gratitude. "You have given my people hope when we had none." Admiral Martinez watched as human and Vraxian engineers celebrated together, finding ways to communicate despite their differences. Earth ships ferried supplies between alien vessels, establishing a rhythm of cooperation. "At this rate, we can have the smallest vessels operational within 2 weeks," Miller reported. "The larger ships will take longer, but we've proven the concept works." What no one realized was that their time would run out much sooner. Far beyond Neptune's orbit, sensors on an outer Earth ship detected something alarming. Energy signatures matching what the Vraxians had described as Dominion warships. The rescue had just become a race against time. The alert came during shift change on the Horizon *. The ship's long-range sensors detected unusual energy signatures beyond the orbit of Neptune. The duty officer immediately notified Admiral Martinez, who was in the middle of a meeting with Vraxian engineers. "Confirmed Dominion signatures," reported the sensor operator. 6 large vessels moving rapidly toward our position. Based on their speed, they'll reach us in less than 36 hours. Martinez's face remained calm, but her mind raced through options. Alert all ships. I want a full tactical briefing in 15 minutes. While human vessels organized into a defensive perimeter around the disabled Vraxian fleet, Chief Engineer Foster worked frantically to restore the aliens' primary defense systems. His team had barely slept in days, subsisting on stimulants and protein bars. We need to reroute power from life support in the unused sections, Foster told his exhausted crew. It's risky, but we need those shield generators online. Earth's military leadership received the alert and began preparations for potential first contact with hostile aliens. Orbital defense platforms were activated, and planet-side missile systems were brought to readiness. In a secure chamber aboard the Vraxian command ship, Admiral Martinez met with Vraxian Admiral Xenvos, a veteran of previous encounters with the Dominion. Xenvos had awakened from emergency hibernation when the alert sounded. Dominion ships are heavily armed, Xenvos explained, manipulating a three-dimensional projection showing enemy vessel schematics. Their primary weapons are fusion-based energy cannons that can cut through most shielding. Martinez studied the display. What about weaknesses? Every ship has them. Xenvos hesitated, then adjusted the display. Their rear shield generators are less protected, but reaching them requires surviving their forward batteries. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Miller made a discovery while analyzing Dominion transmission data provided by the Vraxians. She noticed a pattern in the enemy's shield modulation. Their shields cycle through frequencies in a predictable sequence, Miller explained to her team. If we time our weapons fire to match the moment when they shift frequencies, we might get through. Miller's finding was rushed to Admiral Martinez, who incorporated it into the hastily assembled battle plan. Earth ships began programming their weapon systems to exploit this vulnerability. Foster continued working to restore Vraxian defenses, knowing that without them, the refugee fleet would be defenseless. His innovations allowed power to flow through damaged systems in ways the Vraxians hadn't considered possible. Your people think differently than ours, said a Vraxian engineer working alongside Foster. We would never have attempted these modifications. Foster managed a tired smile. Human history is full of improvised solutions. It's what we do best. As the countdown to the Dominion's arrival continued, Earth and Vraxian crews began joint training exercises. Human pilots practiced flying alongside Vraxian vessels that had been partially repaired. Communications teams refined their protocols to ensure clear coordination during combat. Powell spent hours with Krell Far developing simplified battle language that both species could understand without translation delays. They created visual signals that could be transmitted instantly between ships if communication systems were damaged. Simple words, clear meanings, Powell insisted. No room for cultural misunderstandings when lives depend on it. Dr. Chen worked with Vraxian medical specialists to prepare for casualties. They converted part of the Endeavour into an emergency treatment center for both species. Admiral Martinez faced the most difficult decision of her career. With only 24 hours remaining before the Dominion arrived, less than a third of the Vraxian vessels had even minimal propulsion capability. She had to decide whether to flee with those they could save or stand and fight. The decision became clear when High Commander Ziktal addressed the human fleet. You came to rescue strangers, knowing nothing of us, the Vraxian leader said. We will not ask you to die for our mistakes. Take those ships that can fly and leave before the Dominion arrives. Martinez looked at the faces of her crew, then at the thousands of Vraxians still in hibernation who would be abandoned. That's not how humans do things, she replied. We stand together, all of us. As the Dominion fleet grew closer, Martinez organized her forces for the coming battle. Earth was about to face its first interstellar war, fighting for aliens they had only just met. The Dominion fleet arrived earlier than predicted, dropping out of faster-than-light travel with weapons already charged. 6 massive warships, each bristling with weapon ports and surrounded by smaller attack craft. Their hulls were dark and angular, designed to project menace. All ships, battle positions, Admiral Martinez ordered. The human vessels moved into formation, with the partially repaired Vraxian ships joining them. The largest Earth ships took forward positions, while smaller, more maneuverable craft stayed behind for quick strikes. The Dominion commander's message came through on all frequencies. The translation revealed a cold, arrogant tone. Primitive species, you harbor fugitives from Dominion justice. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed with them. Martinez stood on the bridge of the Horizon Asterisk, which now served as the command center for the combined fleet. This is Admiral Olivia Martinez of Earth. The Vraxian people are under our protection. We propose peaceful resolution to this conflict. The response was immediate. A barrage of energy weapons fire from the lead Dominion ship. The human vessel Defiant Asterisk, took a direct hit to its forward shields, which flared bright blue under the impact. Shields holding at 60%, reported the Defiance captain. That was just a warning shot. They could have hit harder. Martinez's expression hardened. All ships, execute Plan Alpha. No more attempts at diplomacy. The battle erupted across the void of space. Human ships employed unconventional tactics that seemed to confuse the Dominion commanders. Instead of forming a traditional defensive line, Earth vessels moved in complex patterns, making themselves difficult targets while protecting the vulnerable Vraxian ships. Foster and Chen coordinated from engineering to maximize shield effectiveness. They had discovered that rapidly changing shield frequencies made Dominion targeting systems less effective. Rotate shield harmonics every 12 seconds. Foster instructed all ships. Don't establish a pattern they can lock onto. The Earth's smaller, more maneuverable ships darted between the massive Dominion vessels, firing precisely at weak points. Human pilots showed skills that amazed the Vraxians, who were accustomed to more rigid battle formations. Powell's communication system allowed real-time coordination between species. When a Vraxian ship detected a weakness in Dominion positioning, human vessels immediately exploited it. When human sensors found a vulnerable point, Vraxian weapons targeted it precisely. 2 Dominion attack craft disabled, reported a sensor operator. Their main battleship is turning to protect its rear quadrant. Lieutenant Miller's discovery proved crucial when Earth fighter squadrons timed their attacks to coincide with the Dominion shield frequency shifts. A squadron led by Commander Ryan Baker executed a perfect strike against a Dominion cruiser, their weapons fire penetrating shields to damage critical systems. Direct hit, Baker announced. We've knocked out their port weapons array. The battle intensified as Dominion forces realized these supposedly primitive humans were more dangerous than expected. They concentrated fire on the Horizon Asterisk, recognizing it as the command ship. Shields failing, reported the Horizon's tactical officer as the ship shuddered under multiple impacts. Hull breach on Deck 4. Martinez gripped the command chair as emergency systems engage. Maintain position. We cannot expose the Vraxian medical ship behind us. A Vraxian battle cruiser, only partially repaired but with functioning weapons, moved to intercept the attacks aimed at the Horizon Asterisk. It absorbed devastating hits that would have destroyed the human vessel. Vraxian cruiser Eternal Light has placed itself between us and the Dominion flagship, Powell reported, his voice tight with emotion. They're taking hits meant for us. The Vraxian ship's hull glowed red with damage, but it continued firing until its weapon systems failed. As it drifted, crippled, human rescue craft immediately launched to evacuate the crew. The Eternal Light captain says it was an honor to fight alongside humans, Powell translated, and that their sacrifice is nothing compared to what Earth has risked for strangers. The human sacrifice and bravery impressed the Vraxians, who had never encountered allies willing to die for them. As the battle raged, more Vraxian vessels joined the fight, their crews inspired by human courage. Martinez watched the tactical display, looking for an opportunity to turn the tide. The Dominion ships were powerful but rigid in their tactics. If she could find the right moment to strike, they might have a chance. All ships, Martinez commanded, prepare for Operation Spearhead. The Dominion forces regrouped after their initial setback, forming a tight defensive formation around their command ship. Their weapons charged for another assault, this one clearly aimed at obliterating rather than warning. "They're preparing a coordinated barrage," reported the tactical officer. "All ships targeting our front line." Admiral Martinez studied the tactical display, her mind calculating possibilities. The Dominion ships had arranged themselves in a standard formation that protected their command vessel at the center. It was textbook military strategy, and that made it predictable. "All ships, execute Operation Spearhead," Martinez ordered. "Baker Squadron, you're our tip. Foster, are you ready with the power transfer system?" Foster's voice came through slightly distorted from his position in engineering. "Ready, Admiral. It's untested at battle speeds, but the simulations check out." Martinez nodded grimly. "Sometimes untested is all we have." Operation Spearhead was a daring assault plan. 3 human ships would make a direct run at the Dominion command vessel, while the rest of the fleet provided covering fire. It was dangerous, possibly suicidal, but it might break the enemy's coordination. "This is Admiral Martinez. I will personally lead the assault team," she announced, surprising her bridge crew. "Transfer command protocols to Captain Reyes on the Endeavour *." Before anyone could object, Martinez was heading for the shuttle bay. Within minutes, she had boarded the assault craft Harrier * and taken command. 2 other ships, the Falcon * and the Kestrel *, moved into formation alongside her. Foster had developed an emergency power transfer system that could connect human and Vraxian vessels during combat. It allowed the more heavily damaged ships to receive power boosts from those with stronger reactors. Now this system would be used offensively for the first time. "All Spearhead vessels, activate power sync," Martinez ordered. The 3 human ships linked their reactor outputs, effectively tripling each vessel's available energy. Meanwhile, Powell had made a breakthrough in decoding Dominion communications. "Admiral, I'm feeding their tactical orders directly to your display. You'll have a 3-second advantage knowing their moves." The assault began with a massive barrage from all remaining fleet vessels, concentrating fire on one section of the Dominion formation. In the confusion, Martinez's 3-ship squadron accelerated to attack speed. "All power to forward shields," Martinez commanded. "Weapons hot but hold fire until my mark." The small human ships moved with impossible speed and agility, dodging energy blasts that would have vaporized them on impact. Powell's decoded communications gave them the crucial edge to anticipate enemy targeting. Across the fleet, Miller led a daring operation of her own. A small team had boarded a damaged Dominion vessel that had drifted away from the main battle. They fought through the alien corridors, facing Dominion troops in close quarters. "We need that targeting system," Miller told her team as they breached the ship's command center. "Get it intact if possible." Back in the main battle, Martinez's squadron broke through the Dominion formation and streaked toward the command ship. The enemy vessel was massive, easily 20 times the size of the Harrier *. "Now," Martinez ordered. All 3 attack ships fired simultaneously, their weapons precisely synchronized to hit during a shield frequency shift. The Dominion command ship's shields flared brightly, then failed along one section. "Direct hit," reported the weapons officer. "We've breached their primary shield generator." The Dominion ship turned its main weapons on the small human squadron, but Martinez had anticipated this. "Execute evasive pattern Delta." The 3 ships split apart in different directions, each continuing to fire at the damaged section. Vraxian engineers had implemented Earth design modifications to their weapons, allowing them to target the specific frequencies where Dominion shields were weakest. Foster's voice came over the comm. "Admiral, the power transfer system is overloading. You have maybe 2 minutes before shutdown." "That's all we need," Martinez replied. "All ships, concentrate remaining power on weapons. Target their bridge. The combined firepower of the 3 human vessels struck the Dominion command ship precisely where Powell's intelligence suggested their control systems were located. A massive explosion bloomed silently in space, followed by cascading secondary detonations throughout the enemy vessel. Miller's team succeeded in capturing critical Dominion technology from the disabled ship. As they escaped with their prize, Miller transmitted the technical specifications to the fleet. Their targeting systems are adaptive. We can use this against the remaining ships. The celebration spread across both fleets as the last Dominion ship disappeared from sensors. Exhausted crews embraced, regardless of species. Medical teams worked tirelessly to treat the wounded from both human and Vraxian vessels. Admiral Martinez returned to the Horizon to thunderous applause from her crew. Her assault squadron had suffered damage, but all 3 ships had survived the daring attack. She moved through the corridors, stopping to thank individual crew members for their courage. "The victory belongs to all of us," she told a group of engineers who had worked for days without rest. Human and Vraxian together. 2 weeks after the battle, the first official diplomatic summit between Earth and the Vraxian Confederation took place in Geneva. High Commander Ziktal led a delegation of Vraxian representatives to the specially prepared conference center. The building had been modified with sealed chambers containing the methane-rich atmosphere the aliens required. World leaders gathered to welcome the visitors who had so quickly gone from strangers to allies. The Secretary General of the United Nations addressed the historic gathering. "Today marks a new chapter in human history. We have found friends among the stars, and together we have faced a common enemy." Chief Engineer Foster didn't attend the formal ceremonies. Instead, he was deep in discussion with Vraxian engineers in a laboratory outside Paris. They had begun an extensive technology exchange program, with both species benefiting from the other's unique approach to science. "Your propulsion systems are far more efficient than ours," Foster explained to his Vraxian counterpart. "But our power generation methods could improve your engines by at least 30%. Lieutenant Powell established a cultural exchange initiative that quickly became popular on both sides. Humans were fascinated by Vraxian art, which used chemical compounds to create works that changed color and pattern depending on atmospheric conditions. Vraxians were particularly drawn to human music, which affected them in unexpected emotional ways. Your musical vibrations create resonance patterns that our sensory organs perceive as profound meaning," explained a Vraxian cultural expert during a concert of classical Earth compositions. Lieutenant Miller trained joint human-Vraxian security teams, preparing for possible future encounters with the Dominion. The technology she had captured provided valuable insights into their tactics and capabilities. "They won't underestimate us next time," Miller told her mixed-species training group. "We need to be ready." In Washington, D.C., Admiral Martinez and Admiral Xenvos signed a historic defense pact, establishing formal military cooperation between Earth and the Vraxian Confederation. The document, printed on both paper and the crystal tablets Vraxians used for important records, pledged mutual defense and support. "This agreement ensures that neither of our peoples will face threats alone again," Martinez said at the signing ceremony. As the rescue and repair operations continued, most of the Vraxian fleet gradually regained functionality. Some chose to remain in Earth's solar system, establishing a permanent embassy and trading post near Jupiter. Others prepared to continue their journey. Before departing, the Vraxians shared star maps revealing dozens of habitable worlds unknown to humans. These maps expanded humanity's understanding of the galaxy and offered potential locations for future colonies. "These worlds are friendly to both our kinds," High Commander Ziktal explained. "Some could support joint settlements where our peoples could live side by side." 6 months after the initial encounter, a combined fleet of Earth and Vraxian ships departed the solar system. Their mission was to establish the first joint colony on a planet the Vraxians called Harmony, a world with regions suitable for both species. Commander Ryan Baker, who had led fighter squadrons during the battle, was chosen to captain the Earth contingent. Before departure, he spoke to a worldwide audience about the mission. We go not just as explorers or colonists, but as representatives of a new kind of relationship between different beings. What began as a rescue has become something far more important, proof that compassion can bridge the gaps between worlds. News of the Human-Vraxian alliance spread through nearby star systems. Many species who had suffered under Dominion aggression watched with interest. Humanity had entered the galactic stage not as conquerors or victims, but as defenders of freedom. A Vraxian philosopher summarized the sentiment that was spreading across known space. The humans came to our aid when we were strangers. They fought for us when they could have fled. In all our travels, we have never encountered such allies. Perhaps they are exactly what this troubled galaxy has been waiting for.